truth! You can't handle the truth! Truth.
And now, live from the Star Worldwide Studios Tower, overlooking the fifth largest city in America and heard worldwide, it's the Josh Bernstein Show. Liberal hypocrisy and leftist lunacy exposed and dismantled with intellect and facts. And now, here's your unapologetic host, Josh Bernstein.
I have greater power than Fire Clan, a greater power than yours!
Alas, the script isn't finished yet.
Dangerous present. Terrorists are attacking our settlements. German scientists in Egypt are building rockets.
Dad? Are you afraid?
Yeah, well, if I'd stayed another week, you might have tried to strangle me or throw me out the window.
Camelot? A dream? Young man, how wrong you are.
You just lost your horse.
You don't exist! I made it all up! Chicken!
I wanted to take a rest. All this writing has left me quite drained.
Welcome back to the program. My guest today has been able to accomplish something that 95% of actors and actresses only wish that they could do. That is, continue to work for the past 40 years as a paid actor. He has been in such movies as Under Siege 1, Under Siege 2, and many other movies, topping over 250 movies. He has shared the screen with the likes of Charlton Heston, Lindsay Wagner, Robert Loggia, Tommy Lee Jones, just to name a few. It is my pleasure to welcome Nick Mancuso to the program. Nick, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing okay today, actually. Thank you.
Good. Well, first off, I want to congratulate you on all of your success as an actor. We've known for a long time that with acting, it is a starve or feast or famine type of industry, and we've seen many good actors and actresses come in and hit the big screen and do maybe one or two films, and then you never hear from them again. What do you contribute your success as a working actor, being able to have and find roles for the past 40
I think
years?
Sheer desperation.
Sheer desperation? Is it not turning anything down?
I was about 16, 17 in theater, and I did my first professional film for Columbia when I was about 25. A picture called Nightwing, and then I started work and really never stopped after that. I've been working pretty well steadily for almost 40 years now. Not just film and television, but also stage. I guess I always say about it that it's not a profession, it's a vocation, a calling. And I guess I was called to it, and I was one of those rare birds that was actually able to do nothing but this work. I also write as well and produce, but primarily I've been an actor for all this time, and I've done hundreds of parts, and I've worked in over 12 countries in 3 languages. So I guess I've been blessed in the sense that I was able to live the life of the actor. It's an actor's life. And,
Gotcha.
And I guess that's rare. That is rare, in fact. So I'm still doing it. I have a couple of pictures coming out this year, one called The Performance, another one called The Lemon Grove, and a picture I wrote called Born Dead. Another picture I did on the life of Gregory Corso is getting released in Italy. Another picture I did called Regression just won the Platinum Award in Houston. And I just won another acting award as Best Supporting Actor for the American Horror Film Festival. So I continue to do this, and hopefully I will do this right to the very end.
Gotcha. Now, you've played gangsters, leading men, monsters,
I mean,
biblical
I've done
figures.
all 5 stages, right? I mean, the 5 stages of the actor's career are as follows. You start off, you play the lover or the ingenue. Then you play the hero. Then you play the villain. Then you play the loser. And then you play monsters. And I've done all 4.
What's your favorite?
The current one, the one I'm working on in present time.
Gotcha.
You know, I did a picture called Ticket to Heaven years ago, for which I won the Canadian Oscar, and I was submitted for an Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe, which is some of the finest work I've done. But I think the work that I'm very particularly proud of is a picture called The Performance, which will be coming out next year. And I did in the mid-'80s, you know, a cult series called Stingray that is still got a big fan base around the world. But, you know, I've done it all, really all, and I've worked with just about everybody in Hollywood, from Charlton Heston, Sophia Loren, you know, Catherine Deneuve, Kim Basinger, and just about everybody. So I've been lucky, I guess.
Was there one role in particular that really taught you about yourself, or maybe opened up something about yourself that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, like I said, I did a picture called Ticket to Heaven back in 1981, which was a movie about the Moonies. It was based on a true story called Moonwebs, about a fellow that was basically brainwashed into becoming a Moonie, and that had a tremendous impact, because I put myself through the same really routine he went through. I lost almost 40 pounds. You know, I became like a concentration camp inmate. I got my pupils to dilate and stay dilated. It affected me for a long time, and I wouldn't suggest to any actor that they put their body through what I put myself through. I was on 700 calories a day.
Wow.
And it was called by the LA Times, Kevin Thomas, as one of the best performances of the decade. It had quite an impact on people and on people's lives, and it was about something. It was about, you know, something that was current and is still current in many ways. I'd say that picture, and also Stingray, seem to have had an immense impact on many people around the world.
Gotcha. So let's switch gears here a little bit. You have been very open with some of your health issues that you have had. Please tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to go public with obviously something that is so private. And if you would like to also have some assistance on that.
First of all, let me say something about that.
Sure.
You know, I find it really, really quite extraordinary that people that are ill have to be private about it. You know, we are living in very toxic times right now. A lot of people are sick. My illness was a direct consequence of a toxic exposure I received in an abandoned theater, a factory that we took over back in 1969. There were about 40 actors. The place was a toxic dump. And it also had, the soil was radioactive. It was a terrible place. We didn't know. We were young actors, and I was there about 2.5 years. Of the 40 people that were there that I know of, 37 are dead with an average lifespan of about 59 years. I'm still around and alive because I have dedicated myself to trying to keep myself alive through the use not only of standard allopathic medicine, but primarily naturopathic, orthomolecular, homeopathic, Ayurvedic, Chinese. I studied yoga for a long time. I was macrobiotic. I did all that. And, you know, they discovered in my bloodstream, I went to the Whitaker Institute many years ago, and discovered lead and mercury in my blood, and PCPs and dioxins, and even uranium-235. I should be dead.
Wow.
So I'm quite proud of being alive, and I'm quite proud because people like Dr. Eldon Dahl, who is an extraordinary naturopathic physician, have helped me immensely.
Yes, and he's on the line, by the way. We do have our second guest, Dr. Eldon Dahl. Dr. Dahl, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for asking.
Good, good. I've got a question for you, Dr. Dahl. With the proliferation of chronic diseases and illnesses that are rising significantly in Western societies and are less prevalent in Eastern medicine practices, why is it that the medical field views naturopathic and homeopathic medicine as inferior to more traditional methods?
Well, really, there's a lot of money to be made from telling people that they're sick. And pharmaceutical companies really capitalized on this. I really don't think that they're really respecting the industry, because real natural medicine is where all medicine really had its beginning. Natural medicine, Hippocrates was the father of natural medicine and modern medicine. And we forget about that. And we are now reliant on pharmaceutical drugs to combat so many health conditions that are multiplying in the body. Many people have 6, 7 diseases that they don't know, and I call that like a wolf. If you see one wolf, you'll find others that are hiding in the bush, and I call diseases travel in packs. And this is how the medical community is actually supporting the pharmaceutical industry, because they are being trained in their schools from that point on. Natural medicine is starting to make an inroad, which is very encouraging, but we have a long ways to go.
Right. Nick, would you like to add anything on top of that?
Well, obviously, it's been the last 60 years that really the chemical industries, the petrochemical industries resulting in modern pharmaceuticals has really been in existence. Most healing, all healing takes place in the body, by the body, of the body, through natural means. Hippocrates himself said, "Let food be thy medicine." The problem is today we are surrounded by so many toxins, toxicity, whether it was the kind of extreme toxicity that I was exposed to, or whether it's just pesticides, herbicides, GMOs, preservatives. We're in a soup of toxic material, and people after a certain age start getting ill, and they start getting chronic illnesses like diabetes, which I have, like cancer, like Alzheimer's, like so many others. Now of course autism and so forth. This is all as a direct consequence of the extraordinary kind of poisonous fog that we are living in and we accept. So it was Dr. Gerson, a German doctor, who said in the 1930s that the cause and the root of all disease is either toxins or improper nutrition. Well, we get neither today. We don't get the right nutrition. Our food today has almost minimal mineral and vitamin contents.
50% less vitamin
monoagriculture
content than 30 years ago.
And meanwhile, drugs keep proliferating at an astounding rate. Fact of the matter is, yes, there's tremendous advantage to the allopathic side on an emergency basis. It will help, but it won't cure you. Diabetes will not be cured by insulin. It's not cured by the drugs. It's simply a stopgap measure. However, naturopathic, orthomolecular, homeopathic, Chinese, and so forth slowly allow the body to heal. And really that's what we should be concentrating. And my feeling is that people like Dr. Dahl and others really we should all join together, all the various branches of medicine, so that we have a true healing system in place, because we don't.
Right.
An average diabetic nowadays, by the time he's dead, is worth about $3 million to the pharmaceutical companies. His symptoms progress. The more pills are put into his body, the worse he gets. And I can talk from personal experience.
What's amazing, Nick, is that, and I've said this before, there's no money in cures. There's only money in treatment. And sometimes the treatment is worse than the ailment itself. We now see this rampant prescription drug dependency that has happened. We see children in school, reading, writing, and Ritalin. The minute they throw a spitball, the next thing you know, they have to, get on some kind of medication. We've seen, as far as I'm trying to think of the word now, with Robert De Niro's autism. Autism. We've seen that with vaccinations. Maybe even Fukushima in some of the food supplies that they're really not telling us about either. And it seems as though, as you said, these toxins, these toxicities are out there, and maybe even in natural food as well, because of the fact that the global world, in some respects, is poisoning our food supply. What are your thoughts on that?
We're on a downhill slide to extinction, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't reverse this, Dr. Dahl can tell you the proliferation and the statistics and the increase of diseases like diabetes and things like Alzheimer's. Dr. Dahl has a product which I have used because a few years ago I started getting memory problems. It's known as type 3 diabetes, and I took a product called neurotransmitter support, which is an amino acid combination that Dr. Dahl put together. I took it took about a week, and within a week's time I was more or less restored. But the healing stuff is out there, but trying to get access to it, trying to get the information to people, you're not going to get that information. People don't know about neurotransmitter support. They don't know about the thousands of healing remedies that are out there because of the big propaganda of Big Pharma. For example, the situation with Vaxxed. Robert De Niro has a son that has autism. And he genuinely wanted to show this movie because there is very definite scientific evidence that there is a connection between certain forms of vaccines and so forth and autism.
Right.
That's a fact. It's not everybody that gets it, but certain individuals too do. And I personally know parents that the day after their children were given vaccines went into a kind of catatonic stage, had seizures and so forth. But we're denied all this information because we want to believe out there somehow that there is this, big doctor in the sky, which is Big Pharma, that is going to take care of us. Look at the facts. You know a tree by the fruit it bears, not by what it says. Dr. Dahl Dr. Dahl, for example, shared with me that almost, like painkillers right now, the 80% of all the painkillers on the planet are being consumed in North America. Something is seriously wrong.
Right. Well, I agree with you that we need to have alternative methods to medicine. We've seen that there are natural healers and things out there that can do those types of things. I think that more of these drugs, they're getting more advanced. They're having more side effects than they have had in years. And it's about time that we look at what we put in our bodies, not just from a medicinal standpoint, but from a food standpoint. And, are we getting these toxins put into our body, not only from the environment, but from the food that we eat? I interviewed Scott Tips, who is with the Federation of Health president, and he talked about the food supply and some of the additives that they put in the food. And he's told me point blank, the food from 50 years ago was 50% healthier than it is right now. What would you suggest that people do if this is the food supply? What can we do? Is it to grow our own vegetables and our own herbs and things like that, or what would you suggest?
I think first people have to become aware of really what's going on. What we're doing is we're creating chemicals here that are banned, sending them over to China and other nations. They're using the chemicals on their food, sending it back to us, and we're consuming it. Now, what's happening in China? They're actually growing a lot of the food on sewage sludge, and of course, this causes major problems. And many amino acids are produced from feed-grade material that is less than 50% potency. And so what feed-grade material is actually the starting position is sewage sludge. Now, there are reports that sewage sludge actually lowers male potency, so men become impotent. Have you ever noticed that couples today are having the hardest time conceiving? Their infertility is on the rampage because of the food and the environmental toxins that we are ingesting today. Now, since the mid-19th century, longevity has increased. And so living into the 90s has become quite commonplace. But on the other hand, degenerative diseases are being replaced by infectious diseases. And see, even the Rockefeller Society said that due to the exploitation of natural resources, human civilization has flourished, but now risks substantial health effects from the degradation of natural life support systems in the future. So we are on the brink of collapse. It has been reported, we were talking about autism. Autism is reported by 2030 to going to be affecting, in North America alone, 1 out of 2 births will be autistic. 50% of the children born will be autistic. If we don't change things now. Right now, 1 out of 2 are obese in the United States. These are major concerns. And so environmental toxins are on the rampage from cancer to diabetes, Alzheimer's, which is classified as class 3 diabetes. And we have it's become a pandemic situation. And the only way we can really do this is to stop what we're doing and read the labels and hold the chemical industry accountable for what they are putting onto the food and spraying onto the crops and what we are importing. There is a child being born, as soon as it breastfeeds, it's getting heavy metal toxicity through the breast milk. Within the first 2 days of testing, the child has heavy metal toxicity.
Wow, that's amazing. Guys, we're kind of running up on the clock here. Nick, real quick, what projects do you have working right now, and where can people go to find out more about some of the things that you're doing?
Well, I'm currently working actually on a play on the life of Frank Sinatra, and which we're hoping to start staging. One of my plays is being done at the National Theatre in Romania, and we're hoping to do it. But I have, like I said, a film coming out called The Performance, which should be out within the next 6 months. Another one called Lemon Grove, a comedy with Burt Young. And a picture I wrote and star in called Born Dead. So I have those 3, but another one called On the Life of the beat poet Gregory Corso that is now playing in Italy, and we're hoping to have some kind of a release here in the States as well.
Good.
So I've got those projects plus many others. I work at any particular point on 5 or 6 different things. So.
Oh, good.
One thing I'm not is
keep
lazy.
Keep up the good work. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program. The guest is Nick Mancuso. The other guest is Dr. Eldon Dahl. Dr. Eldon Dahl, where can people go to find out more information on some of the things that you do? I know that lifechoice.net is your main website. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's our main website. This year marks our 30th anniversary in research and development. And we're actually creating medicine that will replace and actually compete head-to-head with allopathic medicine.
Gotcha.
This comes by using USP pharmaceutical-grade material. I can personally attest to
the Life Choice products. I've used them. They've helped me immensely, and there is a huge difference between the quality of Life Choice and many of the other so-called supplements. It isn't just the product. It has to be the quality of the product.
Right. Okay. Nick, do me a favor, Nick. Stay with me here for a second just after this. But folks, again, thank you so much for being with me, Nick and Dr. Eldon. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both on the program. Nick, I wish you success. I wish you good health. The same for the good doctor as well. All right, folks, that's all we got for today. We'll be back next week with another great guest. Until then, God bless.
Thank you for joining the Josh Bernstein Show. Unabashed, unafraid, and unapologetic. Holding America to a higher standard. For more information on the Josh Bernstein Show or to connect with Josh, just go to StarWorldWideNetworks.com.